Sounds interesting. Actually.
All right, I'm recording. Hello.
Hello.
All right, so we talked about structure. What I was thinking is that we just do our normal podcast, maybe a touch shorter if we could, and then go like, how terrible would it be if we did a whole show about networking, and we did not take advantage of the people that we were here networking with. And what I was telling everybody is like, all right, give us your elevator pitch as how networking is, or why it's important, what value you see in it. And especially for like meetups and things like this in the community, like for those people that are on the fence about like, it'd be nice, but I kind of don't want to go because I got this. Like, why are these things that important? So we just picked.
It's good to me.
Okay. And her name is Jessie Weta, and Ben Weta, not Ueda. I think everybody in the world has probably made that, like, incorrect. Yeah. So.
Yep. All right, so you guys ready?
Yep.
Mark, you all set?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. So today I'm gonna introduce you first, and then I'll introduce Josh and Wes together since, you guys are obviously together. Okay.
And away we go.
Welcome to episode 40 of the Making Geeks podcast. We are the podcast for makers, dads, and geeks. And we have a very special show for you today. We have Mr. Mark O'Keefe.
What's going on?
And on location, we have Mr. Josh Price.
Hey, everybody.
And Mr. Wes Wayne.
Hello.
And I am Sean Jolliker. Now, just to be clear, they're not at my location. They are at a separate location, but they're there together at the Atlanta Woodworking Show?
Yep. Atlanta Woodworking Show, exactly. We're at the Missing Digit Workshop, to be specific.
Did you guys have to get airlifted over that missing part of the freeway that just happened?
Practically.
You guys are on the north side. I had to be diverted in the weirdest, like, horseshoe crazy type way around the city to avoid that piece. But traffic is terrible in Atlanta, so honestly, you wouldn't have known any better if an entire chunk of interstate was missing.
No. It's true.
Never been to Atlanta. I have no idea what it's like there.
And I think adding to like the misery, not really the misery of the traffic around Atlanta, but the woodworking show is happening literally across the street from the opening day Atlanta Braves game for their brand new stadium. So every parking lot around the hotel, around the venue, like has high-vis vest, angry-looking guards that are preventing people from parking there or asking what they're doing.
Yep.
So, there's a lot going on.
So yeah, if you hear any background audio from us, it's from the 60-plus...
There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, there's like 60-plus YouTube makers of different varieties out two rooms
massive
away.
Party.
At this shop, yeah. So it's a big woodworking shop, but there's a social gathering out there. So if you hear any weird woohoos or something, that's where they came from.
Yeah, it's Joel and Margot Crawford like opened up their shop and their business to have like a big dinner kind of gathering, big party thing that we're doing. And everybody thought it was crazy awesome that we need to record the podcast. So we asked Joel like, hey, can we use a computer? Because we both happen to forget a computer. But I brought my microphone. But he's like, absolutely. And so... everybody is really impressed that we're in his office right now. He gave us free reign of his office to record this podcast. So thanks a lot, Joel and Margot.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank you. Otherwise, we would have to miss a week, which we've been pretty good with not missing for a while.
Either that or it would be just me and Sean, and who knows what we would talk about.
And the Missing Digit Workshop, their claim to fame is a Spartan knife block. So if you've been on the internet for the last year and a half,
for real,
you might have seen that go around. It's been on Gizmodo and a lot of different.
You've been on the internet the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
But in his office, like, I know if you're watching this from home, you probably can't see anything because it's on like a laptop camera. But he's got all kinds of prototypes of stuff that they make a couple of and they see if it works. And he's out there talking to us, and he's like, we have an idea. And if somebody likes it, we make 100. And if somebody really likes it, and if it sells, then we make like 1,000. So there's all kinds of like just random neat little things in here. We have one
That's
of
cool.
his non. This is like a cutting board that we're using right now because we're in an L-shaped desk, and so to fill the void in the middle, we're using one of his prototype cutting boards to hold up the microphone right now. So we won't take pictures of it.
Yep.
Unless you ask us nicely.
All right, Mark, what have you been up to?
Binge watching Game of Thrones.
Trying to get caught up for the new season coming up?
No, there's no getting caught up. I started at zero. I've never seen any of them. So in the past under a week, under 5 days, me and my wife have made it up to about halfway through season 3.
Wow.
So we've been doing that. I've just been getting some digital stuff done lately. Nothing really significant.
Cool.
A little here, a little there. But you guys?
I got a commission job, which is pretty awesome, which I thought was far behind me.
With your little workshop?
My tiny workshop is now a factory in sorts, I guess. But I have a friend of mine that I went to high school with. She's an artist, and she makes these like very awesome and beautiful paintings, like these acrylic type paintings. And recently she found a state of Florida somewhere, and she did her painting on like a cutout of the state, and apparently went mad, and everybody wants one, and she doesn't have the state anymore, so she commissioned me for the first batch of 10 like CNC states of Florida with a little heart cut out like in the Panhandle where we're originally from. And so I've been working on those, and came to the woodworking show hoping to find a new collet for my router and some bits that they don't have. So yeah. So I've got
Josh, I gotta find that website for you.
I know which one you're talking about. I've had it because when I got the X-Carve, I needed a different collet, and I'm pretty sure the website that you're referring to, and I don't remember what it was, but I need to find that so I can get back to work.
It's like something light. Find it before the end of the podcast. Yeah. But yeah, because I had accidentally bought 4mm shaft bits, and I was like, I'm not returning these. So I ended up getting the 4mm collet for it. But damn, I gotta find out where that was.
Yeah, and it was kind of nice because my family, this isn't nice, but my family's been gone all week. They went back to the Panhandle because my wife's sister had a baby.
There we go.
So I had like the whole week to myself, and so I come home from work and like actually get to go to the workshop and put forth all the effort that I would normally need to do, like uninterrupted. And I thought I was going to get all this stuff done and have all of this free time and productivity, and then, I eat some lunch meat for dinner, and then I fall asleep on the couch watching Guy Ritchie movies. Wake up like 10 minutes before I'm supposed to leave to go to work. So,
what's your favorite Guy Ritchie movie?
Ooh. I'm a Lock Stock fan, but I was watching Rock and Rolla the other day. If you haven't watched Rock and Rolla, like it's one of the newer ones, it's a good one. I really like Rock and Rolla.
Did he do one of the Sherlock movies too?
I don't know.
He did the first one.
Oh, he did?
He did do both?
I thought he did both.
Oh, that's my choice.
I know he did the first
Sherlock movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Snatch is still my favorite.
Yeah, I watched Snatch the day before I came up here. That's such a good movie.
Did you see they're doing what was it, Netflix or Hulu or somebody was doing like a series of Snatch?
Yeah.
And it was Ron Weasley is gonna be in it.
Really? Glad that guy found
I don't know. I don't know. He still seems Ron Weasley-ish.
Well, he's got to try to do something.
Yeah.
Wes, what have you been doing?
I've been dabbling with some 3D printing stuff. I'm modeling a character from the new Legend of Zelda game. I'm trying to have a larger, like they have a little figurine of it, a little amiibo of him. It's kind of like a 6-legged spidery creature. And so I'm trying to build a larger one that I can actually put electronics in, because it's sort of like, think of a spider with a head that spins all the way around, and it's got a laser beam that shoots out the top of the head.
Like the creepy toy from Toy Story?
Yeah, kind of like that. And it has a laser beam that'll like annihilate you in the game in one shot. And so I'm actually ordered some laser diodes, and I'm going to try to put it in there in the head and have a servo control the head. and they have like these inscriptions all the way around it that glow different colors in the game based on damage and stuff. And so I'm thinking of printing it in a transparent material and then painting the areas that are not going to glow solid, and then have an LED in the inside that'll shine through.
Super cool.
If I could pull it off, it would be pretty neat. And I'll have articulated legs, kind of like the little spidery camera mounts, you know, that grab onto things, gorilla pods or whatever they're called. So I'm trying to do that before anybody else does. So don't steal my idea, listeners.
Too late.
Yep, I've got a week to do it.
First.
First or best. First or best.
Sean, how's baseball going?
It's going okay. Somehow we ended up with a kind of like a week off.
Yeah, so
We've been busy all week. So, yeah, my son missed both practices this week, and somebody tried to break in.
Yeah, it sounded like it's somebody's smashing through walls.
I'm still young.
If they smash the wall, we know some people that can fix the wall.
True.
It actually worked out pretty well. All that stuff got canceled this week because it makes it easier for us to do this tonight. And then my son's game got canceled for tomorrow too. So I have a little bit more time in the shop to hopefully get started on another project, because the video I released today, I have no idea how it's going to do.
I haven't got around to watching it yet. Explain it to me.
Well, it's only going to take...
burrito repair kit?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, by the time...
I'll go watch it. Don't spoil it. I'll go watch it.
Well, there's nothing to really say. It's less than 2 minutes long.
Okay.
And it's my stab at I guess an April Fool's video.
Okay.
But you released it on the 31st.
I was about to say, what day is it?
Okay, so April Fool's has such a narrow window of hitting that mark. I had to release it early, but there's a kicker where I talk about it, saying it's the burrito repair kit is the first product from Geek Builders, and it comes out on April 1st.
Okay,
got it.
And you can find the link, or you can find the posting in my shop. So,
do you have a product page for it on your site?
I do.
Awesome, good job.
I do. Yep. It's gotten an interesting reaction so far, and I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I just came up with a good April Fool's Day joke.
Well, that's good timing.
I totally forgot it was April 1st. I don't know what day it is.
Yeah, so did I. I wasn't even thinking about it. No, I have to stay off of the internet tomorrow because nothing will be
real,
all
believable.
Lies. All lies.
But I want to know how that's going to be different than anything else, any other day right now.
That's true.
Touche.
Maybe they'll tell the truth. One day
that would be the big, like, yeah. Have our government just be really forthcoming with everything on that one day a year. Spend the following year just trying to fact check everything.
Was that real? No. Was that real? Yes. That no. Oh crap.
Everything passes the statute of limitations.
That's what we're talking about today.
Why don't you take us into it? You brought up the topic.
Oh yeah,
so.
I did bring up the topic.
Yes.
So that was a pretty terrible segue. It looks like I segued myself.
Wow, that's true.
That was super.
What
super
idea
terrible.
did you have, me?
Yeah. How about you? Go ahead and continue talking. So.
Oh.
And that's a train. So maybe we can just cut this whole section out and not make me look like a douche where I talk to myself.
Can you guys hear it?
Not anymore. We heard the initial one. I didn't hear it. I don't hear it anymore.
This is why I hate trains.
Yeah.
I don't need to know you're coming through town, train. Shut up. Baby's asleep. Okay. So then somebody asked me what the hell we're talking about. Sound like a douchebag.
Hey Josh, what are we talking about?
Oh my god. Overcompensate much?
I'm leaving all of this in.
Damn it. Okay. We figured if we're here at the Woodworking Show, right, it's a networking opportunity. So we wanted to talk about the value of networking in your workshop, in your professional life, in your hobbies, like adult friends, whatever. So the value of networking. So how has it impacted your business? How has it impacted what you are hoping to grow as a business? Like, some people think that, my work should speak for itself, which has a lot of merit. And what do you guys think about that? Mark, I'll throw the potato to you.
I don't know, I think it's outside of the fact that I'm absolutely atrocious at it. I think it definitely is helpful, because you never know who you're gonna, whose help you're gonna need, what problem you're gonna run into. You might specialize in one thing in your business, but then someone throws you a curveball, and then you have those favors, or you have good people you can go, hey, help, quick, So I think networking's a great thing, but it's also especially for a lot of us, personal thing to overcome, to just walk up to someone and start going, hey, hi, how you doing?
I think today it's been really, it's been easy here.
Yeah, it's sort of cheating, though, right? I feel like we know it over, 90% of them already. You know the personality, you just haven't met them in person.
Okay, so what's the difference?
I don't know. I don't think there is any difference.
Do you think that, so us coming to this show to hang out with the people that we could hang out with on the internet, is there more value in meeting that person in person?
That's true.
All right, we could go home and I could fall asleep watching another Guy Ritchie movie.
Think about when we first met, though. It's that feeling of, you can sit and talk with someone online for years and years, and you can say you know them, but it's still that there is something different about meeting them in person and shaking someone's hand, or giving them a hug and palling around. I think meeting in person is a lot better than just being online, but sometimes online is your only option.
True.
Like, if it wasn't for making it 100, I still wouldn't have met Sean.
It's also nice to, when you meet somebody online, and then you have the opportunity to meet them in real life, you want to see if your perception of what they really are like holds water. Like, some people
you can
might
vet
have
them.
Yeah, exactly, and see how kind of like how well your own litmus test is on people, like reading people and trying to determine how well you can really know somebody digitally before you meet them in real life. See how good you did. Sort of like a little test, I don't know, and how well they are. Like if they're
like being catfished,
highly processed, persona, or are they really down to earth, or it's kind of interesting to see how all that kind of plays out. And some people are more open and personable online, where they don't have to worry about interaction, like live interaction. They can just post something and they can compose their thoughts a lot easier. For me, that's often the case. Myself, I traditionally have struggled with meeting people in real life and stuff, and kind of walking up to them and everything. So in the last year or more, I've kind of tried to break out of that.
You definitely have.
Yep.
We played a game earlier in this room full of probably 60, 70 people called Name That Maker, where we sat in a circle and I pointed to the backs of the heads of random people. And Wes, who's that? And Wes, who's that? And we probably went through 10 or 15 people, and there was one person that he didn't get, but honestly, he just didn't get it in time.
Yeah.
And it was the back of their shirt that we saw through a stack of lumber. So I think that one missing person was, like, completely acceptable. And I don't know, there's just something... Like, I could think back to the woodworking show last year was my first opportunity to, like, get out and engage with the community of people besides, the community online that we had. And I was very reserved. I was kind of quiet. I was not really awestruck, but, like, I had this thing, like, what is so special about what I have to offer that I would, like, bother this person who has so much that they already offer? Like, it would be like, hi, how are you? My name is Josh, that's all, and then turn around and walk off.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating when they have a giant...
It is. When you meet that person in real life, you have their attention.
Yep.
And so this year, not just because our online presence has grown, but because I met that person already, We had that awkward first date or whatever, kind of like you're talking about.
You're talking about Adam Savage right now?
No, I'm talking about all the people out there.
Oh.
But I mean, the same probably could have went with Adam Savage the other day, but
Yeah.
it was way easier.
Yeah.
And you have, I don't know, a more real established relationship probably isn't the right word. A connection. A more real established connection when you can sit down and look at that person face to face. And, I mean, they know what you do. You know what they do. And if not, they're strangers here. So we have to give your 2-second spiel about this is who I am. This is what I do. This is where you may have known me. This is what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
So, and besides people that we just know, there's a lot of people that we don't know. And it gives you that opportunity to put yourself out there to strangers, the same as you would for potential clients or a potential employer, or I don't know.
And there's a lot of weird one-way interactions that don't normally happen in real life too, where they'll know every more or less intricate detail about you, but then you don't know who they are. Like, so if they listen to the podcast, if they happen to listen to the podcast, then they know a lot about details about us, but we don't know who they are necessarily until they introduce themselves. So it's weird, like a one-way mirror.
Yeah, that happened a couple of times today.
Yeah.
That's got to be a little bit weird because it's not just about you personally, but it's probably also about, where you live, your family.
Yeah.
It is a little bit more intimate that way now.
Yep. Like, hey, how's your son? I'm like, You're like, what? Yeah, your son you did the Mario Kart nursery for. Oh, he's good? Yeah. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But awesome at the same time.
I don't know, I think it's a little weirder this time. That before, I mean, I purposely kept things close to the chest. And now having that weird MakerCast interview that I did come out like a couple weeks ago, people know a lot more about me than I would normally put out on my own. Just because John had that thing that kind of pulls information out of you. And so people know more about me than I would normally ever choose to tell people. And people are like, how are your kids? And how is this? How is the RV? How's this? Do you like it? And are you showing up in this place or this place? And so it's easier to have a conversation when they already kind of know what you're about.
Yep.
But in a normal networking situation, that's not the case. I mean, Mark, I think like what we were talking about earlier with networking is, I think traditionally you have to throw yourself out there in a short amount of time and hope what you're throwing sticks.
I used to when I used to do martial arts, one of my teachers had a saying, because he was like a businessman too, and he said, you have to throw yourself out there as often as possible. I will throw out, if I get a 1% return on what I put out. So let's say I put out 100, I get 1 back. If I put out 1,000, I get 10 back. If you got to think of it like that. If you just keep, it's a numbers game. You put yourself out there enough, somebody's going to bite.
What, that was on How I Met Your Mother, what, the naked guy theory?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the naked man.
The naked man. Get into a lady's room and just strip down naked, and if she freaks out and you run away, it's like, oh, well.
Was it 1 out of 4?
I don't remember what the statistic was, but yeah, it's a numbers game.
Yeah, that Captain Morgan pose is quite the position. As far as networking goes, I've actually been pretty lucky. For some reason, I've always found myself around people who knew how to network really well, and they were always close friends, so I was almost able to always ride on their coattails. I didn't really have to engage a whole lot on my own. I mean, even with me being part of a group and meeting all of you, is because of Wes. That was my foray in. I have another friend who I've known for 30 years who is kind of the person who will go and talk to everybody. And I just happen to be around, so I get pulled into a lot of that stuff. And it's a good thing because I am terrible on my own, left to my own devices. Given enough time, I'll start to engage, but I usually take way too long to assess the situation to go in and actually start talking to people. I am unabashedly socially awkward. But, once somebody starts talking to me, I don't have an issue. I'm not bashful or shy. I just, it's kind of like that. Sometimes it's more than just an icebreaker. And I've had this problem my entire life. And I could even relate this back to when I was a teenager in high school, dating with girls. and I met my wife in high school. We never dated in high school, but we liked each other. And I liked her, and I knew that I needed to take a step because I was still, the kind of thing where the guy has to make the move. So I'd call her on the phone.
Ooh,
Hi, how you
move.
doing? Right. See, I could do that. Hi, how you doing? I'm nothing else to say because I had nothing to say at that moment. So, okay, I called you. I said, hi, you need to talk because I don't know what to say. I just know that I'm supposed to be doing this. I have nothing else to contribute right now.
You're a pretty girl. I like you.
I asked my wife whenever we were dating in high school. I asked her out by a tiny piece of paper that says, "Will you go out with me?" with a little box because I was that socially awkward. I didn't want rejection in my face. Rejection on paper, apparently.
Was there a maybe?
There was no maybe.
No maybe. Okay, that's good.
It was cut or dry. There was no
I can't picture
ambiguity.
Josh being socially awkward.
I wasn't social. I don't know about socially awkward because I always kind of got along with everybody. I don't know. I was just a super bashful dork that around the girl I really liked, not around anybody else. Just I didn't want to hear her say no.
It also depends on the environment too. So somebody had brought up Boston. I still feel like I'm so new to this game. I don't know what I can really say to people or contribute. Most of the questions that I've asked, I've already asked online. In person, I didn't know a whole lot else to say.
I think
I can see that. Yeah, you burn out of all your material before you meet him in person. Then you like,
Because
this is awkward.
everybody that already wanted to talk to, I probably already engaged with at some point.
Yeah.
But I think on the flip side, we are able in this community to see what people have been up to lately.
True.
And so you can that thing that happened yesterday, like you have a more intimate understanding about what's going on in real time with this group of people you may be involved in. But like a batch of strangers, if you're out to get we'll turn it like on professional life, right? So I'm not sure how you all like got the previous jobs that you got. Like Wes, how did you know somebody at
Epic?
Yeah.
My resume was in their database. That's it.
Okay, so that doesn't count.
No.
You're like the one person that actually worked for.
Yeah.
So like the job that I have now or the job I had previously, like I had to put myself out there. And it's very, very difficult to brag about yourself it was for me, like in a resume, because it seems that I'm like showboating or I'm peacocking. And I'm not about that. I'm about like what I do is legit and my work is quality. You can see it, it's awesome, and be impressed by it. And if you like it, then here's my phone number. Where that's really not how the professional world works. Like you have to highlight your attributes or people don't understand it. And it took me a long time to realize that. And now in this community, you can. It's the opposite, I think. Your work has to be able to speak for itself, because if you do that kind of puffy shirt, like this is what I can do, this is what I can do. In this community, it's like, well, you have to like put up or shut up. To where in a professional world, you want to get a job, you need to yell louder and be more flamboyant than the person who sits in a cubicle next to you.
It's funny you bring that up, Josh. I worked for the university that I went to, the Cal Poly Pomona. I ended up getting a job with them as a webmaster. And I remember in the interview, the dean of the college, who I was interviewing with, basically said, "You know what? You're underselling yourself. Stop it." And somehow, even though I wasn't a programmer and I hadn't done web in years, I beat out a bunch of programmers for that job.
Nice.
And I'm still not even sure how. Maybe it was my approach to some things, because I did have a lot of business experience. But yeah, it was kind of weird that you could undersell yourself too. So you have to find some sort of balance.
Well, I had that fear. In my old job, there was a director of training position that I wanted. It was coming open, and it was between like me and really this one other guy who was super cocky, like super full of himself. People think I know I talk a lot on the podcast, but like that guy talked a lot, and that's what he would do. He was showboating, and I had to have like a meeting with one of my managers or whatever at the time. I'm like, how much in the hole, or like what deficit am I in because this guy is just louder than me? I'm like, my work is stellar. My performance speaks for itself. Like I have the experience. On paper, we are equals. I'm like, I'm not going to lose this job because this guy is just legitimately just louder and more showy than I am. I'm like, I'm not going to kind of stoop down to that. I'm fake at that point. And the guy was like, people realize that and they see that. And it all depends on kind of who you're dealing with, and you should always try to get a feel for the other party, but that person saw that attribute in that person as a negative and not as a positive. So kind of knowing who you're dealing with, you know, if you do want to make that kind of connection, if you can research them or view them in a non-creepy way for a series of time and see, you know, how they act, maybe try to mirror that. You know, don't go put on your clown shoes and dance around just to try to get yourself noticed, because sometimes that can backfire. You got anything else? All right. We're going to go do it? Go get people?
Yep.
Okay. So we have an idea with this episode. So because we're networking, we wanted to capitalize, if you will, on the amazing people that we are here with. So we have four or five different makers that if you listen to this show, you have probably heard from these people before, and if you haven't, you need to go jump on it. But they're going to come give us their perspective on networking, like shows like this, or the YouTube community, or putting yourself out there, any of the things that we've already talked about, like their take on how valuable it is for you as a listener and how valuable it may have been for them as a creator or a business person or what have you. So, you want to go get them or you want me to go get them?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wes is going to go retrieve some people. So in the meantime, we'll do a little quick, what are we geeking out about? So until you get back. I mean, they're literally like 2 doors away. But you guys been geeking out about anything awesome lately?
I finished Daredevil today, so I get to start Luke Cage and Iron Fist too, so I'm happy about that. Little things this week.
I watched Iron Fist.
What do you think about Iron Fist? That's all you're gonna say about that? I feel the same way.
He's underwhelmed.
It is freaking boring. The show is boring. Iron Fist is boring.
It's annoying.
It's all the backstory. It's super boring. All right, come on over. All right, we have got Exhibit A. Please state your name.
Hi guys, I'm Andy Berkey.
Hey, it's Andy Berkey.
Famous. What's going on, man? It's nice to meet you.
How are you guys?
Okay, good.
Okay, so networking.
Yes.
How has it helped you? What value should people find in it? Like, elevator pitch on why it's important and what people can do to try to help themselves network.
Well, I'll tell you, I can only obviously speak from a highly personal point of view, but for me, being in the shop alone for 20 years before I found the maker community, what the networking part of all of this has done for me is bring back the joy. And Absolutely. That is, all of a sudden there are people that are finding my work interesting. And for me, it's really selfish, to be involved, to be here, because I get an instant reinvigoration every time that I hit up, a big meetup like this, because you realize that you have a reach, and people appreciate what you're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we really do, legitimately. And I think that's what catches me the most, is you get people that are legitimately interested in what it is that you're doing. And it makes you feel really awesome. It gives you that little bit of validation.
Yeah.
That you may not purposely seek out, but it makes you feel good that there are other people that are appreciating what you're doing.
Right. And the other thing for me was I kind of had this sort of downer as I'm going into my 50s. I'm thinking, okay, craft is pretty much dead. No one's interested in, handwork. No one's interested in craft as something that, feeds the soul. And by interacting with people, especially personally like this, you realize how wrong I realized how wrong I was.
Right.
That there is a whole level, new generations, new headspaces that are wicked into this. And that was just amazing for me to hear firsthand, for people to just go, dude, I really dig this. And it was like, craft is going to be way okay without me. If I roll over dead tomorrow, it's going to be fine because you guys and people that you're encouraging are going to take it to places I never knew they could go.
Awesome.
So there it is.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Pleasure.
Andy Berkey, everybody.
Thanks, Berkey.
Dude, you guys are amazing looking, but all of you. I just want to say, I know no one will hear this, but oh man, you guys are amazing looking.
We have met the bearded guys with hats quota.
I'll say to our listeners really quick, please check out Andy Berkey's channel. He has an incredible collection of videos. I have to say I really like the Give Me a Minute series that you do. Those are actually really inspirational. A lot of great tips.
Thanks, man. Those are fun.
Those videos.
They are. They're purely selfish. Those things. When I have this random thought in the shop, I just turn on the camera and throw something out there and see where it goes.
There's one very important Andy Berkey give it a minute.
Yes, somebody makes a guest appearance. Yeah.
I'm just saying. One that I thought was a little better than the others.
No, it was. I hate to admit it, but you killed it. It was you were fantastic.
And I did it wrong.
You did it wrong.
I did it wrong, and I had to redo it. But that's a story for another day. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, you betcha.
Awesome.
Thank you. Good hanging out with you
Thanks,
guys
Andy.
for a few minutes.
Later, Andy.
All right. Cheers.
Next victim.
Bring in the next tribute.
Nice.
And we'll have links to everybody's channel and what they do in the description.
It's going to be a heavily linked episode this week.
And that's perfectly fine. I would love to broaden the exposure of to our audience for the people that we look at on a regular basis. Aside from the 2 or 3 that get mentioned the most.
And this is really good because we do this every week. We get the feedback that we get from the people that is pretty regular. And coming to a big event like this, I just happen to have some shirts made. I pull out a Making Geeks sticker. People are like, oh, you're on Making Geeks? Like, that's you? I'm instantly no longer the guy from the PI workshop. I was like, oh, the association comes together.
That's pretty cool.
It really is. And we're burning through
And I
those
have to say,
stickers
too,
pretty
that
quick.
Our influences get even bigger than that. I have a student that told me that he bought a pen from Justin Christensen, the Scroll Saw Scribbler.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to ask him for a commission.
You're damn right. We better get a finder's fee for that, Justin. I asked Justin, like, in all seriousness, to do something cool for the podcast. To do his work, take our logo and do something cool with it. So something just completely, like, on your own, take it, make it awesome. And so we'll see what he comes up with. So now it's public. But yeah, but Iron Fist, I'm like 3 episodes in. And, God, I was like, you remember in Monty Python and the Holy Grail? When, like, the little paper heads were like, get on with it! Like, there needs to be a huge montage of everyone from Monty Python telling Iron Fist to get on with it. Who's next? Oh, this is a surprise now. We're getting just random people coming in. Come on in. Here's a hot seat. Here's a hot pink earbud.
Tony!
Pink earbud.
Yep.
It's in the ear that.
Oh,
No, it's in
there
my
you
left
go.
ear.
Yeah.
I'm kind of deep in here.
So tell us who you are, what you're doing. I
I'm
say it into the
Tony-
microphone.
I'm Tony Rulo from Hillview Wood and Metal.
Yeah, he is.
Going on,
What's up,
man?
Tony?
Hey guys.
So,
How's it going?
elevator pitch. Why is networking important? What has it done for you? What can people benefit from?
Especially with the internet, it's benefited me business wise and more importantly personally, with the contacts and friendships that I've made. especially with you 4 individuals.
No.
When you have to sleep in a 5 square foot apartment for 3 days.
We got pretty cozy.
Yes,
Huddled together for body warmth.
There was no spooning, but it was still.
Maybe not in your room. They were spooning in our room.
That's true.
We almost had to eat one of us because he almost froze to death.
So you talk about business-wise, like how can you, starting out your own business, like you've had a really, really broad reach because everybody can see you. You're probably backlogged on work from our community alone. How, other than just, your work speaks for itself, how do you have to put yourself out there? Is it easy for you to put yourself out there? Is there like a jumping point that you can give to people?
It was, I saw a gap, where there wasn't a lot of, like, I make branding irons for a lot of woodworkers, and there wasn't a lot out there, and the ones that were out there were severely overpriced. And some people can afford that, but it just was something that I saw. I'm a machinist by trade, and it was something fairly easy for me to make. It's not easy, but it's not difficult in the trade I'm in. So I was able to make that, and it basically just sparked something, and people, reached out to me and were interested, and it's kind of snowballed into a business, a side business.
So what was the first one that you made?
For Alex Gilmore, it was the Pork Belly Woodworks.
Did he come out to you, or did you show him, like, this is a capability that I have?
Well, I had made my own, and I posted it to the I Like to Make Stuff group, and he reached out to me, and I just thought it was kind of crazy that he's asking me to do this, but I made one, and then Derek Robertson was my second one from Bull City Woodworks, and then it just went on and on from there.
Oh, we saw him today.
Yes, yeah. He's at the meetup.
So,
about how many do you think you've made so far?
I'm into triple digits. I know.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't. I figured I was doing about 2 a week, and it's been well over a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it all kind of started by you doing something that you didn't have to share with anybody, and you made it for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It was through Instagram and through the I Like to Make Stuff group, and people, and the networking and communication, and it just it snowballed into this side business. And then from there, I went on to the MakerCast podcast, and he did a giveaway with all the guys that were on it previously. He contacted me and said we're doing a giveaway, and he said that we're doing a giveaway. Everybody's gonna make something or give something, and it was like guys' names like Mark Spagnolo and DeResta and stuff, and I knew I had to do something to really, in a sense, get my name out there. And I've always wanted to make a hand plane, so I made one, and it was well received, and I just finished up my first order for those, which I'm here in Atlanta delivering some of them to some of the individuals here.
I used it earlier. The thing cut amazing. Even though on a blade you said you didn't sharpen.
No, it's not sharp.
That's awesome. It's like a trophy. Like, it needs to be put in like a display case. But it's awesome. It works.
That thing was,
I've used it. It works really
well. That was
well.
one of the nicest things I've ever held. Like, it had a really good weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, outside of being really pretty.
Yeah.
It felt like I should have white gloves on when I held it in Boston.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the first time it's like touched human hands, because at a certain point I had to put like rubber gloves on the whole time because I would get fingerprints and it would drive me nuts. So I wanted the first person, if it was like Joel Crawford's, he's going to be the first person to put his grimy mitts on it and not mine. So.
What number is this? What number is this? Because you numbered them all.
Yeah, it's under the cap. I think he is. It loosens like this.
I don't want to touch it. I'm going to break it.
He is number 8.
Nice.
He's Yoko Ono. Number 8.
Who's number 1?
Luis.
Oh, nice.
Of course.
Mr. Gonzalez. Well, awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about networking and the power of networking?
Like I said, more importantly out of this all, it's just friendship, and this just the event going on. It's just great to see. It's like seeing old friends.
Absolutely.
So.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Hey, Tony.
Hold
Yes.
on. You got more.
Real quick. You ever do? No, this is completely off topic. But you ever do machining for injection molds for anyone?
Yeah, there's an art to it, but it all depends on. I know, weren't you looking into like a hobby level version of that at some point?
I'm looking at it right now, but I'm more right now wondering how to create some of my molds. So I'm going to be picking your ear about that.
Yeah,
in the
there's
future,
there's generally a draft angle that you have to hold. It's very minute, but you want that so when the molds separate, the plastic releases.
Well, no, that I know about, but yeah, I'll show you pictures when.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Good seeing you, man.
Cool. Take care, guys.
Sweet. Thanks, buddy.
Later, man.
This is fun. These are like not the people that I originally had pegged, so I have no idea who's going to come through that door next.
This is really fun. I like this.
See?
Johnny, who's behind door number 3?
We need that wheel.
Go find random people. He said everybody I pegged has left, apparently. Like a bunch of flat levers. Anyway, so Sean, what do you think about Iron Fist? Since I've already said what I think. I've broken the mold. I've broken the ice.
I'm hugely annoyed by the entire thing.
See,
The actor's terrible. I can't stand who's supposed to be a hero that is so damn whiny.
It reminds me of like if
Right,
Doogie
outside
Howser was like homeless for a while.
Outside of what Sean said, I will say for you not getting into it, the show that's ending right now, if anyone watches Grimm, the first season of that was just so kind of painfully slow. But they were introducing an entire like a new idea in a new world. So usually I'll give something at least the first season, and if you don't pick up by then, I'll give it like a 2 or 3 episodes into the second season. Then if I'm still bored, it's done. But who do we got?
This is Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, come have a seat, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Put that thing in your earballs right there.
Oh, both of them?
Just that one.
Okay, just the left ear ball.
Why don't you tell everybody who you are?
Hey
And
guys.
we're talking about networking, so the importance of networking, right? How has it affected you? How do you think other people can benefit from networking?
Okay, cool, yeah. I've got a pretty cool story actually about this event.
tell her you are.
Yeah, sorry. My name's Chris Dixon. I'm from Atlanta, and I work here at Missing Digit Wood Shop. Thanks to networking, essentially. Last year at the Woodworking Show, I went to the Maker Meetup at Dave & Buster's on Saturday. Earlier that day, I'd met the magnificent Wes Swain, and he was quick to, bring me into the group and talk to everybody there who I was too afraid to talk to. Then that night, he got lucky twice in the raffle, gave me one of his gifts, and introduced me to the maker of the gift. The gift was the Spartan knife block, which is really popular. It's made here at Missing Digit Wood Shop by Joel Crawford. And I met Joel. He let me come down to the shop and pick up the gear. 6 months later, he asked on Facebook, who needs a job as a full-time woodworker? I said, me. And now I'm a full-time woodworker, and this year I've got stickers. So networking,
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Meet as many people as you can,
awesome.
for sure. I mean, I can't get much more specific than like, come to woodworking shows, meet people, just be friendly, and it'll pay itself over 100 times.
Reap the benefits.
Big time. Stickers is the key, though.
You gotta
Stickers is the key, yeah.
Put your website on your
For
sticker.
sure, yeah.
Sweet, man.
Awesome. Thank you guys for letting me be part of this. I'm a big fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh,
Nice meeting you, man.
You have
Go
a fan.
find more people that are fans.
Oh, man. All right. I'll do my best. Thank you, guys.
Just walk outside and go, who wants to be on?
Well, we did that, and apparently everybody went back to the hotel with loot.
Is my drink? Is this my drink?
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
So,
So this is kind of like a new way for us to network, actually, by getting people to come on the show and talk.
yeah. So I was actually this event I was on the fence about going to, again, just like I was the first time. But there's really no reason. I mean, if your budget allows, and if your schedule allows, and even if there's something minor in the way, you really should make time and set aside funds or whatever if you can make it a priority to come to things like this. If you're in this community, or if you're not, if you like to sew, or if you collect model cars or whatever, guaranteed there is somebody else that likes the same stuff that you do.
Now, you're in Georgia right now?
Yeah, we're outside of Atlanta right now. Is there more to that? You had me on the hook. I thought there was more to that question.
No, I'm sorry. Because
it's just a geography question.
Yeah, no, it was a geography. No, you're saying you should go. I really want to go to one of those, but I was just wondering how I would pull that off.
Well, I think it's convenient that these are in. And this is the second time it's been in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I'm
locally.
imagining that they're going to be here again.
Right.
But the airport is very accessible from just about everywhere. If you fly Delta, you have to come to Atlanta anyway. So I know the WIA makes its rounds every year. So, I mean, if those things are near you, and especially with Woodworking America or the Woodworking Show, kind of like we talked about last week, it's like, well, I'm not an actual woodworker, and you put your stupid quotation marks over your title. It doesn't matter. Like, go out and do things with people that have even the same realm of interest that you do, and it pays off.
Yep, for sure.
So this June, I'm actually nervous about this a little bit. This June, I'm going to VidCon in Anaheim.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that is such a different world and such a different group of people. It's like Hollywood, but worse in a lot of ways. So I'm a little bit apprehensive just because I think the networking there is going to be a little bit different. Although I do know a couple of people that will be there, so maybe they are the ones that I will find to ride their coattails if they allow me to. We'll see.
Well, that's where Bob met Destin.
Yes.
So, okay, we're gonna do this again about titles and whatever. So Bob Claggett and David Picciuto went last year and they talked about this, and they felt, in their tiny little group of people that they were somewhat at a place or whatever, and they went to learn business tactics, and that's where Bob met Destin from Smarter Every Day.
Yep.
And they met a whole bunch of other people that are these super mega big name YouTubers, and they've made these connections. And
Yeah, Grant Thompson, I think you met there too.
yeah. Well, I mean, we were at Maker Faire. Wes and I were at Maker Faire talking to Bob, and his phone rang. He's like, "Oh, that's Destin." Like, yeah.
I almost threw up in my mouth. I think I actually threw up in my mouth.
Like, it was so cavalier.
Yeah.
And at the woodwork, like, whenever I do things, I'm like, "Oh, I was over at Bob Claggett's shop," and people in our circle are like, "Wait, you were at where?" I'm like, "I met Bob the same way that you can meet Bob, and Bob met Destin the same way anybody else can."
Well, not exactly. I mean, we can.
Don't barge in his hotel room or anything. That'd get kind of creepy, but they're people. They're people that are interested in the same stuff that you are interested in. And they don't have an armed security entourage. Like,
that we know of.
walk up and you gotta start that conversation. And it's super awkward. But there's one thing somebody told me when I was in the Army, and it was like, that person is not gonna punch you in the face for talking to them. It may be awkward, it may be whatever, but you're not going to get hurt, and you don't have to pick the rarest flower from the highest mountain just to talk to somebody. Like, you walk up and you just start speaking. And
I'm going to become BFFs with Casey Neistat.
Do it. There are people in our maker group that have done things like that. Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning. Paul Jackman, who was outside a little while ago, probably left, made them a cutting board. So if you watch Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link, who have in the millions of YouTube subscribers, they used that cutting board the other day. I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Made by a guy that we know.
You never know.
Yep. So they're people. They're not scary monsters.
And if it doesn't work, you don't have to talk to them anymore.
Yeah, you can badmouth them on the internet and they won't know any better.
Jerks.
Buttholes.
We got anyone else coming?
And apparently everybody else left.
I went home. It was still good.
Yeah, it was good. Now everybody's outside just yelling.
So that's about the time to wrap things up.
Yep. All right, so we would love to hear more from all of you, our listeners. Go ahead and go to makinggeeks.com, go to the contact page. You could drop us a line, question, suggestion for the show, anything you want. We check out all those that come in, and you might just hear your suggestion or question on the show. Go ahead and check out the homepage of the site to listen to all of our past episodes and all of our past wonderful guests. You could also listen to us on your favorite podcasting app, and I'll pass it over to Mark.
We can also be found at Making Geeks Podcast on Instagram. You can find us at Making Geeks on Twitter and on Facebook at Making Geeks.
And we also want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com. With their help, they help at events like this for passing out wonderful stickers. I still have some of the stickers from the first group of ones we ordered from the Patreon funds that we were passing out tonight. So it definitely helps us out. And we appreciate all of you guys for spending your hard-earned money on us. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you can find all our individual work at Asylum Designs on Instagram, Twitter, and Thingiverse, at geekbuilders.net, at geeksmithing.com, thepiworkshop.com, and this show comes out on Saturday. It is now Friday. So to go along with our theme, you should be at the Woodworking Show in Atlanta, Georgia at the Cobb Galleria, and you can come see Wes and I, and we can see you in person, and you can get one of the aforementioned stickers.
We'll be here till Sunday.
Yeah. So you still got 2 days to come out and actually exercise this networking that we've just imparted on you. All this nuggets of knowledge, put it into practice.
Hashtag Squirrel Ninja. I had one person say that to me here.
That's right, I did too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us, as always. Thank you for putting up with the noise and the hoopla. We're having a really great time here. And we hope you're having a great time wherever you are, making, building, being a dad, living life.
Geeking out.
Geeking out. We've already established that Iron Fist sucks, so you missed.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not terrible, but it's not up to the standard. That
Do better.
The rest, yeah.
Shave Doogie Howser, make him do some freaking kung fu or something already, because I ain't got time for this. Okay.
Cool.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, folks.
Later.